Beyond the Hype, a fashion lifestyle tech podcast. Presented by Stephanie Williams and Greg Lewis.
All right, so we're diving deep today into crypto. And specifically something that's really got people talking. This idea of the flippening. Could Ethereum actually overtake Bitcoin in terms of like market value? By January 2025, I mean, that's the big question, right?
Right.
You sent over some articles that are really, really interesting. Like, it suggests that it's possible.
Absolutely.
There's some pretty wild numbers in here. So we're seeing the ETH to BTC ratio climb up to 0.0356.
Oh, yeah.
And then we see a ridiculous $35.66 billion flowing into Bitcoin ETF this year alone.
Wow.
It's crazy, right?
That's nuts.
So what does this all mean for, like, the average person who's like, dabbling in crypto or really into crypto? What does it mean for their crypto journey?
Right.
Let's try to unpack this whole thing.
Yeah.
So for you, looking at all of this, what really like stands out? What's the big takeaway?
Well, what's really interesting to me is that we're not just talking about like hype, this potential for like power shift in the crypto world. It's like there's stuff happening in the market that's like showing this. For example, this guy, Michael Van de Poppe, who's like a crypto analyst, he's predicting that if that ETH to BTC ratio breaks 0.04 in January, we could see like a crazy surge. And he calls it an altcoin run. It'd be within the Ethereum ecosystem.
Okay, hold on. Altcoin run.
Yeah.
Break that down for me and for our listeners too. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
And why is this ratio such a big deal? Like 0.04. Why is that number so significant?
Okay, so altcoin, it just means any crypto that's not Bitcoin.
Oh, okay.
So basically
all the other ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
It's everything else besides Bitcoin.
Okay.
An altcoin run is when those other coins all start like spiking in value, and they often like outperform Bitcoin.
Wow.
So it's like they're taking over, in a way, the ETH to BTC ratio. It's basically just comparing how much Ethereum is worth compared to Bitcoin.
Got it.
So if that ratio goes up, it means that Ethereum is like gaining on Bitcoin.
Okay.
So if it breaks above 0.04, it could be a sign that like the whole market is changing how it feels about these two, and that investors are going to start putting more money into Ethereum.
Interesting.
And other altcoins.
Wait,
so kind of like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ethereum's value is potentially going up. We see that. But what's like fueling it? Is it just like speculation? Or are there actual solid reasons why it's gaining this momentum?
It's definitely a bunch of things all coming together.
Okay.
You know how Bitcoin uses that proof of work system, which needs like a ton of energy to mine new coins?
And tons of energy?
Ethereum, they switched to this proof of stake model. It's way more energy efficient.
Interesting.
And it makes transactions faster.
Oh, wow.
So that's made it like really appealing to investors who care about the environment.
Of course, yeah.
And developers who want to build on a platform that's like, fast and efficient.
Thanks.
Then on top of that, Ethereum is like the king in the DeFi and NFT space.
Right.
And that's huge.
Okay. For our listeners who might not be super familiar with all the crypto lingo, can you just like break down DeFi and NFTs for a sec?
Yeah.
Why are they such a big deal for Ethereum specifically?
Definitely. So DeFi stands for decentralized finance. And it's basically like trying to do all the things that normal banks do, like lending and borrowing money.
Oh.
But you're doing it without the banks.
Oh, wow.
No middleman. It's all powered by these things called smart contracts that are on the Ethereum blockchain.
Got it.
NFTs are non-fungible tokens. They're basically like digital things that you own.
Right.
Like digital art or collectibles or even virtual land.
Yeah, that's right. I've heard about that.
And again, Ethereum is the main place where people create and trade NFTs.
Cool.
So all this activity is bringing in tons of developers who are building all these crazy new applications.
Yeah.
And also tons of users who are excited about all these possibilities.
We make that.
And all this innovation, it's making people think that Ethereum could be like a really big player in the long run.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how this is all evolving.
Yeah.
It's really dynamic. But even with all this innovation, Bitcoin still holds the top spot right now.
For now.
Yeah.
For now.
Remember those Bitcoin ETFs we talked about?
Yeah.
Those numbers are insane. 35.66 billion.
Ridiculous.
That's serious money.
It is.
That's telling us that the big institutional investors, they're taking Bitcoin very seriously.
Like, who are we talking about?
Well, you got big players like BlackRock.
Oh, yeah.
They jumped in with their iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF, pulled in a crazy $37.31 billion.
No.
It's like a sign that Bitcoin is becoming more accepted as like a real asset class.
Yeah.
It's not just ETFs either.
Yeah.
Companies like MicroStrategy, they're like doubling down on Bitcoin.
Really?
They're actually going to issue more stock so they can buy even more Bitcoin.
That's a bold move.
Yeah.
Why would a company like MicroStrategy go all in like that? That seems kind of risky, doesn't it? It's a big statement for sure. They're basically saying they believe in Bitcoin for the long haul. They see it as like a digital version of gold, a protection against inflation, a safe place to put your money in a world that's like super unpredictable.
I mentioned that.
Their bet is that Bitcoin is going to keep going up in value over time.
Made sense.
Which is a bet a lot of people are making. But yeah, it's not without risk. It's not a strategy that's going to work for everyone.
For sure, for sure. So we have these two kind of different things happening at the same time.
Right.
Ethereum is changing the game with all this new tech and getting tons of new users with DeFi and NFTs.
Yeah.
Then you have Bitcoin that's becoming like the go-to for big investors.
Yeah.
But there's another thing we got to talk about.
What's that?
The government's stepping in with new rules and
Oh,
regulations.
yeah, for sure. That's a big one. The IRS is coming out with these new rules about reporting digital assets,
Okay.
and they're going into effect in 2027.
Okay.
It's a big deal because even those decentralized exchanges will have to follow the rules.
Right.
This is going to make everything more transparent and make it way harder to like avoid paying taxes. It's a big step towards bringing crypto into the normal financial world.
Cool. So if I'm getting this right,
Yeah.
by 2027, anyone who's messing with crypto, buying, selling, trading,
Yeah,
they'll have to tell the IRS about it,
exactly.
just like they do with stocks and bonds.
Right.
No more hiding in the shadows.
It's getting harder to fly under the radar, for sure. This could really change how people think about investing in crypto, especially the folks who are hoping to stay outside the traditional financial system. It also makes you wonder, like, how are they actually going to enforce these rules in this decentralized world? It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. And while we're talking about things to keep an eye on, we can't forget about security.
Right.
It's always a big concern with crypto.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You sent over that article about Yatsu,
Yeah,
the co-founder of Animoca Brands.
I saw that.
He got his X account hacked.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that as crypto gets more popular, it's going to be a bigger target for hackers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You got to be super careful with security in the crypto world.
Yeah. What are some tips for our listeners?
Well, first off, strong passwords are non-negotiable.
Of course.
You have to use two-factor authentication everywhere you can.
Yeah, good point.
And be really wary of any phishing scams that come your way.
That's right.
And also, do your research before you jump into anything.
Yeah.
Choose exchanges and wallets that have a good reputation and that you can trust to store your crypto.
Right.
It's your money at the end of the day. Protecting it should be your top priority.
Absolutely. So we've talked about a lot today.
We have.
Ethereum possibly shaking things up, Bitcoin's appeal to the big investors, the changing rules and regulations, and the constant need to be careful about security. It's obvious that the crypto world is changing really fast.
Yeah, it's moving so quickly.
It's exciting. It can be a little confusing.
Yeah, definitely.
So knowing all this, what are your thoughts on the future of these two crypto giants? Do you think the flipping is really going to happen in 2025?
Honestly, it's impossible to say for sure.
Yeah.
Trying to predict crypto is like trying to predict the weather.
Right.
There are just too many things that could happen.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, we're seeing a total revolution happening in finance.
Yeah.
Whether Ethereum ends up on top or not, both Ethereum and Bitcoin have the power to completely change how we think about money and value.
That's a great point. It's not just about picking a winner. It's about understanding how this technology could change our lives. And for our listeners today, we hope this deep dive gives you a better grasp of what's going on in the crypto world. There's so much more to learn and discover out there, so keep learning, stay curious.
Absolutely.
And as always, do your own research before you make any investment decisions.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you in the next deep dive.
Sounds good.
Beyond the Hype, a fashion lifestyle tech podcast.